Hello, my name is Ava. In this video, I'm going to talk about voter suppression. For this topic, we will go over what it is, the history of voter suppression, and lastly, its impact today and how we can combat it. Let's talk about the definition and look at different examples of voter suppression happening. Voter suppression is a strategic legal method whose purpose is to reduce voting or registering to vote. Members of a targeted racial group, political party, or religious community are the most affected. Groups of people who are usually targeted by voter suppression include people of color, especially African Americans, young people, the elderly, and persons with disabilities. This is common for voters who tend to lean Democratic. Common voter suppression tactics used in most states include closing of polling sites, long in-person voting lines, excessive absentee voting requirements, strict photo ID laws, voter purges, which remove names from voter rolls, paying fines for disenfranchised voters, no curbside voting, and so on. Some of you may ask, why are there so many obstacles or rules made to prevent people from exercising their right to vote? Well, there's a method to the madness. 2020 voter suppression tactics are modern-day cousins of white supremacist measures taken long ago to keep Black people from voting in the Jim Crow era. During the Jim Crow era, measures used to keep Black people from voting included poll taxes, literacy tests, and overt voter intimidation. The 15th Amendment was ratified in 1870 after the Civil War. It guaranteed the right to vote could not be denied based on race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Nevertheless, in the beginning of the 20th century, nearly all of African Americans who lived in former Confederacy states were again disenfranchised. After nearly a century, Congress passed the Voting Rights Act of 1965. It was signed into law by President Johnson. During the past 50 years, the Voting Rights Act made progress in voter turnout across the country. However, new subtle voter suppression tactics adopted under conditions of the Voting Rights Act, for which they play a huge role today. The 1965 Act had requirements for Southern states to seek federal approval before changing voting laws. However, in the year 2013, everything changed. The court unfortunately overturned federal requirements, which means that Southern states did not have to stay in check, so they reverted back to changing voting laws. In reason of these tactics happening today, there are ways to take action. As a voter, make sure your voter registration info exactly matches your government ID or documents. If not, you can always call your board of election officials to confirm it. If you end up voting in person and your name doesn't appear on voter rolls, you can always fill out a provisional ballot to have your voice be heard. Thanks for watching!